1970s blaxploitation was an explosive genre that led the way for a new type of storyteller that would forever change Hollywood.
What is it you really want?
Justice.
On this IMDb brief, we recognize cinematic representations of Black power that leapt off the screens in the 1970s and milestone movies that you should add to your watch list. As white flight saw migration to the suburbs in the late 1960s, inner city cinemas were hurting for business. Enter Melvin Van Peebles, a struggling yet already award-winning filmmaker who was determined to shine a light on the Black experience as he knew it. So he wrote, directed, edited, scored, and starred in Sweet Sweetback's badass song.
Can you dig it, baby?
Making $10 million off his $150,000 feature, Van Peebles is seen as the father of blaxploitation. Then head of the Los Angeles NAACP, Junius Griffin coined the term as criticism for the ethnic subgenre of exploitative tales of sex, drugs, and Black power. But these films were ushering in new stars that had not yet been given the chance to play leading roles, thereby revolutionizing the kinds of stories that Hollywood would tell.
The hype I'm laying down for them people inside, it ain't dangerous. I'm just selling them a little bit of happiness.
Sweet Sweetback received endorsements from Huey P. Newton and the Black Panther Party for presenting the need for unity among all members and institutions within the community of victims. Van Peebles had struck a nerve that Hollywood would cash in on just 2 months later with a Bad Mother.
Shut your mouth.
I'm talking about Sharon.
And we can dig it.
Hot on the heels of Hollywood's string of late 60s gritty cop dramas like The Detective and Point Blank, 1971's Shaft was written for a white actor, but director Gordon Parks decided to cast Richard Roundtree in the lead role to inspire Black youths with a hero they hadn't seen before.
Wow.
Essentially rescuing MGM from bankruptcy, Shaft proved to the studios that blaxploitation was bankable and even awards-worthy, as the film's soundtrack would win an Oscar. The formula of bombastic crime dramas with comparably badass music was codified, and Shaft's director's son, Gordon Parks Jr., would race to theaters with Superfly, backed by one of the greatest soundtracks of all time.
Did you want to double up on that, my man?
Curtis Mayfield's iconic music perfectly suited Ron O'Neal's iconic young blood priest, but the movement had only just begun.
You shall be Blackula.
1972's Blackula, starring William Marshall as the titular bloodsucker, began a string of horror films like Blackenstein and Sugar Hill, as blaxploitation expanded into other cinematic genres like Western, comedy, and martial arts.
Out of sight, sister.
Suddenly, strong Black women were leading films for the first time, ever. Tamara Dobson as Cleopatra Jones karate chopped her way onto the big screen, followed closely by Pam Grier as Coffee, then Grier again in the must-see Foxy Brown.
I know. That's the idea.
Studios attempted to co-opt stereotypical characters from these productions for white audiences, even making a James Bond movie that's essentially blaxploitation.
Oh, I should have never gotten into any of this.
But too much, too soon caused interest to wane, and Black filmmakers became interested in making different kinds of movies as their audiences changed. So by the end of the 1970s, blaxploitation had all but disappeared, until a new class of late 80s filmmakers who had grown up dazzled by these landmark films began the new Black realism, a movement of filmmakers telling their own stories about young Black men in urban settings.
And that's the double truth.
Spike Lee's Do the Right Thing and John Singleton's Boys in the Hood owed a debt of gratitude to blaxploitation filmmakers for paving the way.